Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into some of the most mysterious disappearances and the strange places where these people were eventually found. Buckle up, because these stories are going to blow your mind. We're talking about people who vanished without a trace, leaving behind their families and friends, their whole lives just gone. And then, just when the trail runs cold, they reappear in the most unexpected places. Like, how is that even possible? Get ready to question everything you thought you knew about missing persons cases, because some of these stories are straight out of a horror movie. But are they horror, or just seriously messed up situations? Let's dive in. Our first story takes us all the way back to 1978, a time when bell-bottoms were in fashion and disco ruled the airwaves. Picture this. It's February, freezing cold, and a blizzard is raging in Michigan. The snow is coming down so hard you can barely see a few feet in front of you. A college student named Stephen Kubacki decides to go cross-country skiing. He's an experienced skier, so he thinks nothing of the harsh weather. Normal college stuff, right? Except Stephen never makes it back. His friends and family start to worry when he doesn't return that evening. Search parties are sent out, but the blizzard has covered everything in thick snow. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Days turn into weeks and hope starts to dwindle. The once bustling search efforts slow down as the harsh winter continues. Stephen's family is devastated. They're left with so many questions, no answers, and this gnawing feeling that something terrible has happened. They cling to the hope that he might still be out there somewhere. Then, 15 months later, get this. Stephen reappears, out of nowhere, like a ghost returning from the past, just as mysteriously as he vanished. No one saw him coming, and no one knows where he had been. He's found wandering in a field, miles away from where he disappeared. He looks disoriented, but otherwise unharmed. Okay, that's good, right? He's alive! But wait, there's a twist that makes this story even more baffling. Stephen has absolutely no memory of what happened during those 15 months. It's like a black hole in his mind. It's like a whole year of his life has just been wiped clean. He can't recall a single detail, not even a fleeting image or sound. He remembers going skiing, and then nothing. Blank. Gone. It's as if he stepped into another dimension. What happened to Stephen Kubacki? Did he get lost in the blizzard and suffer from amnesia? Or was there something more sinister at play? Was he taken? Did he repress something traumatic? The possibilities are endless and equally terrifying. To this day, no one knows for sure. It's a total mystery. A puzzle that has stumped even the most seasoned investigators. And that's what's so creepy about this case. The unknown elements make it all the more unsettling. It's the not knowing, the lack of closure, the endless questions that haunt those who hear about it. It's like a piece of a puzzle is missing and we'll never find it. A story with no ending. It just makes you wonder what other secrets are hidden in the shadows, what other mysteries are waiting to be uncovered. Okay, get ready for this one. Because it's wild. It's a story that will leave you questioning the very nature of reality. This is the story of Hannah Up, a dedicated teacher who seemed to have it all together. She was passionate about her job and loved by her students, but beneath the surface, something strange was happening. Hannah was grappling with an invisible enemy. Hannah would just disappear, vanish without a trace, leaving everyone baffled. It started small, little absences that were easy to overlook. She'd miss a day of work, maybe two, and then reappear with no explanation. Her colleagues were puzzled, but they didn't press her too hard. Her friends and family were worried, obviously, but Hannah would brush it off, acting like nothing was wrong. She seemed genuinely unaware of the concern she was causing. But then, the disappearances became more frequent, more intense. It was as if she was being pulled away by some unseen force. One time, Hannah vanished for an entire week, 7 days of complete and utter mystery. She was found wandering around New York City, miles from her home, with no memory of how she got there. She was disoriented and confused, like a stranger in her own life. It was like she was living multiple lives and she couldn't remember any of them. Each disappearance was a blank slate, a reset. Doctors eventually diagnosed Hannah with dissociative fugue, a rare condition that causes people to lose their memory and identity, often traveling far from home. It's a condition that is as perplexing as it is rare. It's like their brain just hits the reset button. Everything they know, everything they are, wiped clean in an instant. Imagine waking up one day and not knowing who you are, where you are, or how you got there. It's a nightmare scenario that Hannah lived through multiple times. That's what Hannah was dealing with over and over again. Each episode left her more disoriented and isolated. It's terrifying. The fear of losing oneself, of becoming a stranger in your own life, is unimaginable. Hannah's story is a reminder that the human mind is a powerful and mysterious thing. It can create and destroy realities in the blink of an eye. We still don't fully understand how memory works or why some people are more susceptible to these kinds of conditions. The brain remains one of the final frontiers of human knowledge. It's like our brains are capable of creating their own escape routes, their own alternate realities. And sometimes those realities are more than we can handle. Chapter 3, this next story is like something out of a movie, but it's all too real. It's a tale of heartbreak, resilience, and the incredible power of hope. It's about a young boy named Julian Hernandez who was abducted by his own father when he was just 5 years old. Imagine the confusion and fear a child must feel in such a situation. Can you imagine your own parent taking you away from everything you know and love? Julian's mother was heartbroken. She was left with an empty home and a shattered heart. She never gave up hope of finding her son, but years turned into a decade and the trail went cold. The search was relentless, but the answers were elusive. It seemed like Julian was gone forever. The places he once played were now just empty reminders of a lost childhood. But then, a miracle happened. A glimmer of hope pierced through the darkness. 13 years after his abduction, Julian, now a teenager, stumbled upon his own missing persons report online. It was a moment that would change everything. He recognized himself in the photos, even after all these years. The realization was both shocking and surreal. Can you imagine that moment? The flood of emotions, the questions, the disbelief. Seeing your own face staring back at you, a face that represents a life you don't even remember. It must have felt like looking into a mirror of a forgotten past. It turned out that Julian had been living with his father under a different name, completely unaware of his true identity. His entire life had been a carefully constructed lie. His father had created a whole new life for them, a life built on lies and deception. It's mind-blowing. The betrayal was unimaginable. Julian's story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope. The human spirit is incredibly resilient. And sometimes the truth has a way of finding its way back to the surface, no matter how deeply it's buried. It's a testament to the enduring power of love and the unyielding quest for truth. Chapter 4. This next story is about a woman named Brenda Heist, a wife and mother who seemingly vanished into thin air. 1 minute she was there, the next she was gone. It was like she'd just evaporated. Brenda's family was frantic. They searched everywhere, but there was no sign of her. Years passed and the case went cold. Some people whispered that she had run off to start a new life, leaving her family behind. Others feared the worst. Then, 11 years later, Brenda resurfaced. But she wasn't living the glamorous life that some had imagined. She was homeless, living on the streets of Florida, thousands of miles from home. What happened? It turned out that Brenda had been struggling with depression and financial problems. One day, she just snapped. She walked away from her life, her family, everything, and disappeared into the anonymity of the streets. Brenda's story is a reminder that mental health is just as important as physical health. Sometimes people are struggling silently and we don't even realize it until it's too late. It's a reminder to check in on our loved ones, to offer support, and to let them know that they're not alone. Chapter 5. Okay, you guys know I love a good mystery, and this one is a real doozy. It involves the queen of mystery herself, Agatha Christie. That's right, even the woman who wrote the book on detective stories had her own real-life mystery. In 1926, Agatha Christie disappeared. Gone. Poof! It was a huge scandal. The newspapers went crazy, everyone was talking about it. Agatha was already a famous author, and her disappearance only fueled the public's fascination. For 11 days, Agatha's whereabouts were a complete mystery. The police were baffled, her friends and family were worried sick, and the public was on the edge of their seats. Where could she be? Then, just as suddenly as she had vanished, Agatha was found. She was at a hotel registered under a different name, acting like nothing had happened. What was even more bizarre was that Agatha claimed to have no memory of those 11 days. She couldn't explain where she'd been or what she'd been doing. Some people speculated that she had staged the whole thing as a publicity stunt. Others believed she had suffered some kind of mental breakdown. To this day, no one knows for sure what happened during those 11 days. It's a mystery that Agatha took to her grave. These stories remind us that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more intriguing content. See you next time. And let me know in the comments which story freaked you out the most. Was it the missing memory man, the vanishing teacher, or maybe the Queen of Mystery herself? I want to hear all your theories. Stay curious, my friends, and never stop questioning the world around you. You never know what mysteries you might uncover.